Helens 12, Warrington Wolves 14 at the Totally Wicked Stadium on a Friday night under the floodlights. Does it get any better than Super League Rugby League football of this quality? Two brilliant sides going toe-to-toe for 80 minutes on the edge of your seat. The last 20, it was in the balance. It could have gone either way, and Warrington just about secure the win at the Totally Wicked. 5 in a row now for Warrington Wolves fans. You must be loving at this moment in time your little bit of heaven over the Saints thus far in the last 2 seasons. But of course, 2 more games on the horizon. One, a massive quarter-final game for who's to say that Saints don't win that vital match at the Halliwell-Jones Stadium. Well, back to this match last night. What a brilliant bit of theatre. It started with the pyrotechnics, it started with the fireworks, and it continued throughout the 80 minutes of rugby league. It was wonderful fare to watch on a Friday night. This is why rugby league is the #1 sport in the world. It's just that the world haven't caught up just yet, but I'm sure that they will at some point. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful game of rugby league football. Let's talk about Saints first and foremost. I mean, as you would expect, the keyboard warriors are out. That was to be expected. Wellens out. Even Breer's now coming in for some criticism because of their lack of attacking flair and execution against Warrington. I mean, there's no doubt about it. Possession stats just show it. You know, Saints had the lion's share of possession. They had the lion's share of territory. But for whatever reason, they just couldn't break Warrington down. Warrington's defence was improved. Only 89% tackle efficiency, but their scramble D was very good, as too was the Saints. Wonderful moment, of course, when Roderick Ty went down the right-hand side. Great cover tackle from Mark Percival and Jack Wellesby. Probably one of the nicest moments in terms of defensive efforts throughout the entire 80 minutes. But yeah, it is a problem for Saints. I mean, people were basking in the glory of those first 3 games when, let's be fair, they were playing substandard opposition. Yes, they were scoring with absolute abandonment, but the bottom line was they were always going to be tested by KR and Warrington, 2 sides that finished above them in 2024, and they have now lost both of those sides. So Saints fans are probably asking themselves, have we really improved? There's a clear issue in the halves. There's no doubt about that. I mean, Johnny Lomax is coming in for some massive criticism as well. His time's over by all accounts. I mean, again, it's not for me to comment on that, but at this moment in time, the fans are looking at certain key areas of the field. They're not happy with what they're seeing. And for me, what they were over-reliant on in this game were the likes of Wellesby and Percival in terms of breaking and attacking and getting there. Don't want to shoot on John Bennison, but I have to say, with every passing season, I'm sorry, John, but I don't think John Bennison is good enough for St. Helens. I'm just going to say that. But again, he just doesn't really offer much. He's a little, when he brings the ball out of backfield, he's a willing runner. But, in collision, he doesn't do what the likes of, dare I say, a Kyle Fell, a Matty Ashton, for a Liam Marshall, these type of players that, gain 200, 150, 160 metres in a game. He just doesn't quite do that. Ashton 144 in this game. When you compare that to John Bennison, he did 82, and that tends to be a theme with John Bennison. He doesn't really get over the advantage line too much. They're missing Murphy, they're missing Fell, and a lot of people say our injuries, it's because of our injuries. Come on, Saints fans. Robertson is your starting centre. Harry Robertson was outstanding last night. Again, another 123 metres from 14 carries from Harry. I thought he stood up really well against the Warrington Wolves. He's now your starting centre alongside Percival. You have Wellesby at fullback. Yes, you're missing Murphy and you're missing Fell, but Sambo on debut, absolutely exceptional. Wonderful try from him. He didn't let you down. 15 carries, 99 metres, 3 tackle busts and a clean break from that young man. I mean, Wigan have got a great player on the hands, haven't they, for 2026? And again, St. Helens fans livid over losing a player of that quality. And Stevens again, not in the starting 17. That's a real head scratcher, because I think in a game like this, somebody like a Noah Stevens is really important. We saw the impact that Joe Philbin made when he came on the field for the Warrington Wolves. Somebody who can come in, do a 20, 30, 40-minute stint, give the likes of Vaughan and Musgrove a bit of a break, but actually, put in some really bruising runs and also some bruising defence. And that's what Noah Stevens can do for St. Helens. So where's Noah Stevens? That for me is a real head scratcher. The one youngster that St. Helens have signed up on a long-term contract, they've lost Sambo, and they're not playing him. It's unbelievable. I don't understand why that is. For me, Stevens should be in the 17. I saw enough of him last season to suggest that he should be there. This is really, difficult times for St Helens, because where are they? We don't really know. We don't really know. This trilogy with Warrington's going to be interesting to see. Can they actually land a punch on Warrington during the next two games? They probably will do, but it'll be interesting to see how that goes. And of course, the big Good Friday game against the Wigan Warriors, that is certainly going to tell us a little bit more about the Saints. I mean, in terms of Warrington Wolves, I mean, Marc Sneyd, take a bow, sir. What a debut from Marc Sneyd. I mean, I'm not being funny. I'm not seeing kicks and tricks like that since synchronized swimming in the Olympics. It was beautiful, absolutely marvellous. I mean, his game management, everything that Saints were lacking. Again, Saints fans pointing, why didn't we buy Marc Sneyd? I mean, there's no doubt that has added so much now to the Warrington game. His game management is, we've always known this about Sneyd. His game management is very, very good indeed. There's no doubt about it. Last season, Salford's final league position of 4 was very much down to Marc Sneyd. Marc Sneyd was head and shoulders their best player in 2024. He's now playing in a Warrington side that, let's be fair, Vaughan played better. Musgrove had a decent effort. We know that Warrington have got to start laying the platform a little bit more. Thought Fitzgibbon on his return was handy as well. If Warrington can get on top in the middle units and give the space to somebody like Marc Sneyd will produce. And I thought his kicking game on the night, I mean, it was a variety of kicks. There was bombs. He was splitting the fullback and the winger. I mean, that's something that Warrington hadn't had since the man up in the technical box at St Helens had left the club in Lee Breers. And it's an exciting time, this, if you're a Warrington Wolves fan, to have somebody of Sneyd's architecture, for want of a better word, in your squad going forward this season. I mean, I have to say, one of the softest penalties known to man awarded to St Helens, St Musgrove's on Johnny Lomax. I mean, come on, that was as bad as the one that Drinkwater milked last year at the Halliwell Jones Stadium. And again, you St Helens fans, you've got to remember that. You were livid over that last year. I think it was Matty Lees. You've got Warrington will be livid over this one with Musgrove. It didn't, of course, have any bearing on the final result. But the bottom line is, I think that is very, very soft indeed. Got the game off to a pretty poor start, it has to be said. And then that moment of absolute quality. And you saw, I mean, great spot from John Wilkin and the Sky team. That little conversation between Sneyd and Williams, get yourself over there. This is what I'm going to go and do. It's one thing to tell Williams what you're going to do. It's a different thing to go and execute it. And the execution of that from Sneyd was absolutely pinpoint and superb, and many congratulations have got to go to him. I thought the Morgan Knowles try was wonderful, and this will be, it'll be great for St Helens in terms of watching that time and time again. It was a wonderful individual try from Morgan Knowles, lovely little dummy, off he goes under the sticks, fantastic. But of course, there will be a tinge of sadness because he won't be there next year. And I thought Morgan Knowles had an exceptional, yes, his last pass of the night to Parsi will probably live long in the memory. But come on, I mean, really, that should not really be in the hands of Morgan Knowles. Again, going back to your halfbacks, that should be, your game players, your game managers, your game winners that are having their hands on the ball at that moment in time. So I think a lot of Saints fans will forgive Knowles for that, but I think overall during the course of the game, he was superb for St Helens last night. A real loss for 2026 and beyond. A really, really solid try indeed. And then, of course, the second half, Matty Ashton doing what Matty Ashton does. He's got a brilliant record against St Helens. He really, really has. He loves playing the Saints, doesn't he? And again, once he's away, he's away. I mean, when you consider Harry Robertson, yes, he had probably a 2 or 3 yard start on Robertson, but I mean, bottom line was, I mean, you saw the afterburners go on. Robertson had no chance. I mean, Saylor, good effort from him. He tried his best, isn't he? But Matty Ashton, over he goes. Did he re-aggravate that foot injury from Vegas? We'll have to wait and see. Will he be playing next week when the Leeds Rhinos come to town on Friday night? We'll have to wait and see on that. But, credit to Saints, they bounced back yet again. Some wonderful play on the left-hand side. I thought Percival's, pass, he really did draw in Roderick Tye, didn't he? Lovely ball outside. And, Sam Mood decides, he's going to do the spectacular for his first try and debut. I've got no issue with that. Great effort. Well done, young man. He had a stellar game, and he'll remember it for many, many years to come. Just that one Mark Percival missed kick between these two sides. Very little in it. And I think from a St Helens perspective, unlike the KR game where I did think that KR really did play well and probably showed St Helens that at this moment in time, they're in the shadow of KR and Wigan. In this one, I think Saints are thereabouts. We know Warrington haven't had a great start. I think there's not an awful lot between these two teams. Where they go as the season goes on, we will have to wait and see. But, Saints fans will come away from this probably a little bit happier, albeit it is another loss to a team that finished higher above them last year. Lots of question marks there at St Helens. Right, let's get into the 3-2-1. Where am I going for the 1 point? I have to go Morgan Knowles. Morgan Knowles, brilliant try. Wonderful try. 42 tackles in defence. He only missed 1 tackle all night. Incredible defensive work from Knowles. 3 tackles, a clean break. He carried the ball 13 times for 57 metres. I thought Morgan Morgan Knowles was brilliant. Noting dispatches, though, to his opposite number, James Harrison, who equally on defence and attack played well for the Warrington Wolves. But Knowles, for me, with that try, edging that, he gets the 1 point. The 2 points goes to the man that, for me, looked the most dangerous for Saints throughout the evening and was a part of that big cover tackle that stopped Roderick Ty from sealing the game early for the Warrington Wolves, and it's Marc Percival. Percival, there was a lot of doubts over him playing this game after the Leeds game, but he was in the 21-man squad and then he played. That surprised many, but what a performance. I mean, he took an early knock early on where, I can't remember if it was to his foot or his leg, and there was question marks, would he carry on? He got a brilliant assist, like I've already said, to Sambu. His defensive work was really good. 214 carries, 24 metres, 10 tackles and a clean break. What more do you want? Marc Percival, for me, the engine room of St. Helens. He is a Rolls Royce of a centre. There be no criticism for me on Marc Percival. A great, great player indeed. And the 3 points has to go, of course, to Marc Sneyd. Without Sneyd, does Warrington win this game? Perhaps not. I think, the ingredients there now are there for Warrington Wolves with Marc Sneyd in the team. Beautiful, beautiful assist, but it was his kicking game. Like I say, 19 kicks in general play. He also had 7 attacking kicks in this game. He really did orchestrate the Warrington Wolves to victory. Now, don't get me wrong, will he get man of the match every week? Absolutely not. There's too much quality around that Warrington Wolves team. But on this occasion, in a tight game, perhaps this is that missing ingredient. We'll know more when they go up against the likes of KR and Wigan that are still to come. But at this moment in time, this victory, no doubt about it, without Sneyd, the Warrington get it. I don't know. What do you think? Get your comments in there. You Saints fans, come on. Let's be hearing from you. It's not all doom and gloom, is it? There are little shades of sunlight in there if you really want to look for them. But Mr. Wellens is under a lot of pressure. As to how his Lee Breers, unbelievably. That is our network. That's In the Sheds done and dusted for this particular game. We'll be back with more In the Sheds very soon because, of course, we've got to review Wakefield and Hull FC next. But you enjoy the rest of your Saturday morning and we'll see you very soon.